What's up, y'all? My name's Tim Ream. I'm here today on the 32nd day of 75 hard. This is going to be my AM workout. I'm going to do arms today. This is one of the ones I usually would like to do at the gym. They've got a little bit better equipment, but I want to get this down on film for you guys, just to kind of take you through what I do, how I do it. That being said, I do have everything set up. Feeling pretty good. I did do an arm workout on the 27th, and today's the 30th, so I usually wouldn't do it that frequently. But since I want to get it on camera for you guys, this is kind of one of the opportunities I have to do it in between the split that I work. Yeah, so I'm basically going to start with triceps, do biceps secondly, and then to make sure this workout goes 45 minutes, I'm going to throw calves in there at the end, and I'm going to superset it with forearms. So get a complete, arm workout from the top to the bottom today. So anyways, we'll start over here with triceps. I'm going to do, basically a overhead extension. I don't even really know what you call them, just with the cables. And yeah, let's get into it, man.
Any real responsibility, and they're able to just kind of like do whatever they want in life. And if you look at the school boards, and we look at the
there's also the 32nd day of the spring cut too. I could have started a little bit earlier. I didn't, so I'm at a higher caloric deficit. But it's still going good, and excited to see where it goes.
You don't care about right and wrong. Who are not contributing.
Get a couple warm-up sets here.
Not doing anything productive, and they've taken over these little local governments. And I think over the last 4 years, a lot of that's been taken back, and but I think a lot more has to happen. And so, when we talk about practicality, your first and foremost responsibility is to be an excellent human being in all regards. Fit, healthy, intelligent, high earning as much as possible, taking care of your family, and to conquer that. And then, the second phase of that responsibility will be to get involved in the local situations when you can. A lot of change culturally can happen just from that. So, what we really need is like for example,
start with about 50% of my max. Do probably 3 or 4 warm-up sets, probably about 2 or 3, and then do a all-out just heavy set to failure.
Millions of people over the course of a month, from a standpoint of service. Like, hey, these are the things that we need to work on. And so, I found myself in this sort of conductor seat, like over here, over here, over here. And I think people just have to look at it. What can they do in their own little communities? I don't think everybody needs to go run for president or run for senator or run for Congress, United States Congress, or any. But if you can, you know what I'm saying? But I think all of you can participate in your local school board meetings. I think most of you can participate in your county meetings, your town meetings, your community. And I think over the course of time, Americans have just gotten away from that. And they have lost the understanding that those things are important and valuable to our communities and our culture. And while they took the eye off the ball, those places were overrun with far leftists and communists. Yeah, disgusting shit. Who, we've seen these clips all over the internet for years and years and years of, people in the school board, like that Loudoun County stuff that happened, where that 17-year-old boy who's dressed as a girl was in the girls' restroom, raped one of the girls, and then the dad freaks out and they arrest the dad.
I choose this workout too because it's once you go all the way down, then you're as flexed and stretched at the back end of that movement for the triceps as you can possibly be. And then you can work it real good. But basically, I'm trying to flex the entire time I'm doing that exercise and just squeeze right on that, tricep there while I'm doing it. I'm going to keep bumping up weight.
He's like harassing this guy. He's like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this?
And if you notice, I'm not going to failure on all these sets. I'm literally just getting blood in the muscle, getting the mind-muscle connection, getting focus, getting the range of motion down in these 2 or 3 warm-up sets, and just, basically working up to that one massive set. I'm finding my weight that I can push, safely to failure, and Basically just working all that in to find that.
That's right. He just went away.
Find that red line area, I guess.
They're just not solving it. Men can solve this shit. They're just not solving it. And I can tell you this. If I had a girl and she was 13 and there was a 50-year-old man in there while she's changing, that dude would be in a fucking hole. Like the next day. Yes. Whatever. I don't care. Look, bro, I don't even care if I go to jail for it. I don't even care. Yes. Waving the camera in their fucking face and shit ain't gonna get it done, motherfuckers. That's the point of the show. Yes, these people feel entitled to our fucking children. Period. If a grown man is going to say he's a trans-age 13-year-old girl who is changing in a girl's restroom, competing in a girl's event, and none of the men in the neighborhood are going to do anything, like what the f is going on?
I don't even really like doing a heavy bulk movement with this one. I kind of do it more just to pre-exhaust triceps before I get into kind of the more of the movements that I actually like the best. It's like just tricep extensions, straight bar. I use that as a heavy bulk movement to be able to just push a lot of weight and get a lot of, load bearing onto these triceps. And then basically more isolated stuff, reverse grip. You'll see as I progress, but this is just to kind of pre-exhaust. All right, bump up a little bit of weight. We'll do that one set to failure.
We have a culture that is legitimately, children are being afraid of. It's not only that, bro. The communist insurgency in our country is trying to remove all boundaries. This already happened. It happened in the Weimar Republic in 1930s Germany. I've been saying this for years and years and years. Okay, and then when these people are finally handled, they're gonna write the history books like it was unjust. You know what I'm saying? Like these people are fucking little kids. They're your kids. And they're trying, we see it in Spain, we see it in Europe, we see people of parliament and government saying that children should decide if they want to have sex with an adult. It's their decision. Like, do you understand? Listen, pedophilia is a fucking legitimate mainstream thing that hides under the surface. Okay? Like when you go to the grocery store, there's pedophiles in the grocery store, like a lot of them. Okay? And it's so rampant and it's so big that, and nobody wants to say, hey, I'm a pedophile, right? I don't want to say that in public. But their actions are all in defense of these kinds of people, right? We're seeing people call them minor attracted people. We're seeing people justify pedophilia in literal college classrooms. We're seeing entire groups of people like allow these people into their groups. Like, dude, this is fucking wrong. Okay, when we address this problem as a real problem,
try to catch a couple of those negative to failure.
Members of government who
Alright.
have been involved with a dude for years and years who was engaged with child sex trafficking and shit.
You go to a straight bar, just tricep extension.
Listen, dude, I think it's way bigger of a problem than people think. I think it's way bigger of a problem than people think. I think people, when they traditionally think about pedophilia, they think of it like, okay, yeah, it's that one weird guy on the street, that looks like a pedophile. But I actually don't think that's what the problem is. I think there's a whole bunch of people that are all connected in some way that are legitimately trying to normalize it globally. How do they normalize it? Because they know they're going to get caught, and if they can normalize it before they get caught, they won't be held accountable the way that we would normally hold them accountable. That's what I think. That's what I observed. I mean, dude, the guy who busted that Pizzagate conspiracy just got brought up with child porn. Exactly. He's the one that debunked Pizzagate being a real thing, and then all of a sudden he's proven to be a pedophile. So, like, dude, we as Americans need to take a fucking hard stance and draw a hard line in the sand on what's going to be tolerated. And I'm going to tell you this. Pedophiles go in the wood chipper, bro. Yeah. No, that's it. Real shit. That's the line. The line is, if you fuck people's kids, you go in the wood chipper. And we should legitimately consider, like, making public examples of these people. Meaning, like, torturing them and fucking unaliving them in public. Yeah, so that people understand why we don't do these things. There should be zero tolerance for this. Zero sympathy. I don't give a fuck why you do that. I don't care what happened to you when you were a kid. I don't give a shit. And we got this victim mentality now where it's like, oh, well, he's mentally disturbed. I don't care. Into the wood chip, yeah. Let's solve your problem. He's not mentally disturbed anymore. And by the way, his mental disturbance is not disturbing any of us.
Exactly.
Okay, like, so we have to start talking about this in real terms. These people are not going to stop. They're not going to quit. It's being, like, encouraged at some levels, and it's a big freaking problem, dude.
No, it is, man. It is.
You guys, any question number 2?
Do like 2 warm-up sets, get into that set to failure here. I'm trying to make sure that I'm hitting my bicep all the way up whenever I come up, and then squeeze all the way whenever I get down, and then kind of catch more of the negative emphasis, thrust it down, catch more of the negative emphasis. As the weight goes up, you're going to start seeing me kind of getting over the weight and really start to push it down. You'll start to see more of my body rocking, and you're going to see basically me trying to catch more of the negative so I can swing a little bit more weight. Because the triceps, one of those muscles that you can put a lot of weight on. They're real strong. They actually make up more of your arm than your actual bicep does. So it's actually a bigger muscle. Just thinking out loud, but I mean, you would probably be pushing more things than you would be pulling towards you, like in the workforce and just in natural everyday life. You're probably going to be using it more to stabilize and push than it would be bringing anything towards you. So really, that would kind of make sense. That'd be more of a load bearing. Like, you can actually put a lot of weight on your triceps. So I'm gonna try to, I try to put as much as I possibly can on
And
them.
that line is crossed immediately. And then I will say, hey, don't fucking do that. And then 5 minutes later, we're friends again, right? Like, it's not, there's no like, it's communication, man. It's like what we talked about a couple weeks ago. It's being direct with your communication. It's being comfortable saying exactly what's going on and meaning it, and then not holding grudges. And now, I think a lot of people, when it comes to this friendship, leadership thing, I think they look at it like,
Yeah, if I can really squeeze at the bottom on those warm-up sets, then once I finally get into that max set, it's just like I've already got it kind of burning, and it almost becomes like a weak link in the chain, and it's almost like all the focus of that entire movement is right there on it. So, like, especially with pre-exhaustion and first with that overhead, it's like you're creating like, no, you're just like really warming them up to where they're the ones, and it's the part of the muscle where it catches the most of the actual load itself, I guess.
2 minutes later, hey, let's start. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like that. And so, like, there's a nuance and a balance to it. And the reality is all the people I see talking about it, they don't lead anybody. Like, bro, like you got like these little Instagram videos. Yes, like these Instagram videos that people talk about leadership. They don't even have employees, or they have 2. Okay, if you've led a group of people and you've been effective at leading them, and you have accomplished things with them, I will listen to what you have to say. That's why football coaches are good to listen to, because they're able to coordinate a large number of many different personalities from many different backgrounds and many different life perspectives, and get them to operate as a unit to accomplish something, which is football.
I haven't worked out here in a while for arms, so I don't really know what my max is on this. I'm just gonna kind of throw some heavy weight on here, and hopefully I can do it with pretty proper form. If it's too crazy, I'll bump down weight, but.
Then you can like orchestrate like a synergy. You guys this, you guys that, and if you do this and these guys do that, we can do it. Yes. So like, we have a lot of bad information about leadership. One of the guys I like that I think gives a great, presents himself as a great leader, and I think is a great leader, is Jocko. Okay, I think Jocko has a lot of great shit to say about leadership. I think he's a tremendous leader.
Accomplishing missions.
Not exactly. Yeah. Where the consequences were, if he fucked up, it's not like they lost money. People can die. Okay, so that's real leadership. Okay, and I think we need to be real careful about whose opinions we take about leadership. We have to ask ourselves, has this person run a team? How many people were on the team? What did they accomplish? Did they win as a team or did they lose as a team? Just these in videos that keep scrolling. Like these people, like there's so many people on the internet now that are saying, all the companies I invest in, which ones are they? All the companies I run, which ones are they? Let's start seeing some shit. Let's see your building. Let's see your customers. Where can we order your product? Where can we test out if you are actually living by the principles that you're speaking about on your little fucking Instagram? Okay, you understand? So like there's so much shit out here that we have a lot of people that are really confused about what good leadership looks like. And this ruins it because they're listening to people that have never led and never won leading. So leadership coming down to being an effective leader has to do a lot with intent. All right? Meaning, do you, I bet every single person in this building knows that I want them to win. I think they know that I want
Gotta try to thrust those last couple down just to catch like a static hold on the way up.
Okay, and that's a fundamental
Or,
thing for you.
You know, more accentuated negative.
Make sure they trust you. Make sure
Whatever.
the best interest of them.
I'll move over to, that was probably my bulkiest
If you can instill that level at the beginning, you're far less
heavyweight movement.
because everybody knows, okay, look.
I'm gonna start doing a little bit more, feel like targeted, isolated stuff. Work my way down from bulk to ISO movements.
You know, like I said, they end up being a total dick and they can't get the respect of their team, or they are totally soft and they get run over and they're ineffective. And really the truth is that somewhere in the middle is where you want to be. You want to be someone who's respected, who your team knows that you care about them, who is also driven and that they trust will take the mission and accomplish the mission. And, you know, there's a lot to that. We've got a whole entire podcast on leadership and coming here every day talking about a different aspect of leadership. But to get back to, you know, the question at hand, it sounds like you're walked all over. That's what I think.
I'm gonna go right into my max sets on these here,
That you're allowing your team
on these last two exercises.
not as effective as the team if you were a little bit harder in terms of enforcing the standard.
Holding the line.
Yes.
Yeah, because that's what I was gonna follow. Like, okay, like who's speaking more on this? Like when that is a situation, is that more of a sign that okay, you just have bad followers, right? Like there's bad people who, you know, maybe they're just pieces of shit that like to take advantage and like don't respect it, or is that more like that? No,
Let me ask you something. Hold on. If you have a team and you're the leader of the team, and the team isn't able to perform, and you're in charge of who's on the team, whose fault is it that they're not performing?
That's yours.
Yeah. Okay? So that's my fault. If I have a team that's not performing, then there's a lot of things that could be happening. One of them could be that it's not. One of them could be that overwhelmed. One of them could be they don't believe. One of them could be they don't believe in me. They don't believe in the mission. They've been paid too much, so they're unmotivated. One could be, you know, there could be a million things that could be doing it. But ultimately, the reality of leadership is this: you have a mission. You have to get everybody to orchestrate and work together as a team to accomplish the mission. And the only way to do that.
That was a good one there.
Do so.
Real nice, real focused. I get that squeeze all the way down at the bottom.
You know,
Go up until, I mean, you can't go anymore there.
You walked over.
But you know, it's kind of going until really I feel like the tension's going to start to let off.
So like.
And then bring it back down and just stay right in that zone the whole time.
There's just so much to it, dude. You know, I think, and there's an art to it too. There's a nuance. There's a feeling. Like I can generally feel when there's some shit gone wrong in the team. But a lot of this is experience. Like how long?
Going to my single arm movements here.
How long have you been leading? Like,
I actually really like these things.
dude, like, yeah, it feels good to balance that.
Yeah, I really like this movement here because
Friends and
it's actually one of the ones like with the singles. Once you actually get to the failure point, you can just help out just a little bit. If you think about it, you get to failure. That's what I call like, just like you would see the speedometer or the RPMs on your car. There's the red line. Like that's where I'm trying to go and dig into that red line. And whenever you get into that red line is whenever you're actually starting to present your body something new it's never encountered before and saying, hey, this is this weight that I've got to cope to. Like you want your body to be like, oh shit, this is something I've never seen before. And so, especially on these single arm movements, you get to where you can't do it anymore on failure, like just one arm, and then you can actually start putting in that, you know, helping out with the other arm and get those last probably 3 or so and just dig into that red line area. So it's one of the movements I really like, because if you can do that every single time, like on the movements that you can, if you can dig into that red line area with like 3 reps, I'm telling you, whenever you come in here the next time, you're going to be stronger. All right, let's get into it here.
And they will help you win. And they will call you out when you're being a fucking bitch. Okay? So
Drop a little bit of weight here. I'd probably do it, honestly. Drop a little bit.
It makes me an effective leader. And statistically very effective. My track record speaks for itself.
Try that.
I actually believe in my heart that being a good friend means holding people accountable. That's what I believe. Like if I saw one of my friends, you know this better than anybody. If I saw one of my friends living below what I'll say, hey bro, what you doing, man? They say how it should be. It should be like this, and you know that. That's the kind of friend I am. Like, bro, that's why I don't have that many friends. Because most people are too pussy to be friends with me. Yeah, because I'll straight up tell you, bro. And you know what? That's why I live at a high standard, because they can never turn around and say that shit to me. You know what I'm saying? So that's another being a great leader, is living at the highest standard possible in all areas. Because that's a big problem. You don't pack all this shit, bro. You can't direct something. Listen, bro. There's so many leaders out here that are fat, lazy, incapable of doing the job that they ask of their team. And then they're like, well, I should be a leader because I'm a leader. And it says so on my paycheck that I'm the leader. That doesn't make a leader, bro. Being makes you a leader. So, you know, there's all kinds of things. Like, what's your physical state? What's your mental state? What do you look like? How do you appear? How do you behave? Confident? I would bet this person's not very confident. I would bet this person is very afraid on the inside. I would bet this person's terrified of having a real.
And whenever you're doing that movement too, don't just fucking jerk it down. Like whenever you're pulling, like just take enough weight off of it to where you're actually still working that muscle and you're pulling down with that tricep still. Just enough. Get into that fully contracted position and let the negative let go with the other hand and let the negative work it up. And then like your base, I mean, you might be able to do, that's 45 right there. On that 8th rep, you might only be able to do 40. You know, that 9th rep, you might only be able to do 35, but basically, you are prolonging the volume aspect of it. So that can begin to be a negative if you go into it way too fucking deep, like with like 25 reps or something. It's just like too much. You just probably should bump up weight, but this rep range is fine, 8 to 12. But yeah, just take enough off to where you're actually still really working that muscle. Okay, so that's actually the 4 exercises I do for triceps. I'm gonna hop over here and start doing biceps. One thing that I do is like people are looking for that specific best workout. Like they think if they find the new workout, then that's gonna be the thing that gives them the big arms. That's gonna be the thing that gives them the big chest. Like there's some grand workout everybody's looking for. It's like, oh my God, once I find that, then I'm really going to make the gains that I want to. And really it's just about just fucking going to failure. I mean, really is what it is. But I will say on this, alternate curls I have found are the best just because I rotate on the way up and then rotate on the way down. So you're kind of getting that hammer effect. And you're just getting a straight up, I forget what it's called. It doesn't matter. But basically, you're getting that rotation in the wrist, which is changing the angle of that bicep. And I found it is starting to hit like I think it's a short head maybe. But anyway, it's kind of like the brachialis out there. And once that gets big, this muscle here, like you'll start seeing a lot wider biceps. And I've started seeing that. So I really gravitate more towards just standing alternating curls. and do some seated alternating curls and then fucking preacher curls. Which I don't have the bench here, preacher curl bench, but I'll just do it against my leg today. I mean, I'll probably do like 7 sets total. 1 or 2 warm-up sets and then get right into it for biceps.
If you were worth and you were delivering this amazingly beautiful art of tattoo work, and you charge the price that you feel is undervalued, people would say, how the bro, this ain't right. Supinate.
That's it.
Okay? Not everybody, but people would, and it would become a thing.
That's the word I was looking for. It's like a hammer effect, and then you've got also kind of the supinated grip there too. So I feel like you're kind of exhausting the entire rotation on that bicep all in one movement. So that's why I really like doing them. Like they just give you the all around, like the entire bicep gets worked.
Okay, you're gonna have to do rookie things in the beginning. And rookie things mean I'm gonna have to do things for a low or free cost. That's the reality. All right, so let's start there. You're probably still in a place where you're getting paid what you deserve. Now, let's flip it. Let's say you are who you say you are, and you're undercharging. Picasso. Now listen, bro. Listen to what I just said. If that man actually believed he was worth what he says and what he's trying to say he's worth, then why would he not charge that in the first place? I don't have any issue charging anything for that.
Why is there doubt?
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
Like, bro, I get hundreds of thousands of dollars to speak. I don't feel bad.
Should I be charging that?
Yeah, I'm like, dude, okay, well, I'm pretty much one of the best in the world, and I actually do real things in real life. I'm taking away from this to go do that. You're gonna pay me, and I don't feel bad. In fact, I don't even do the events because I feel like I can't even charge what I'm actually worth because it's not worth my time to do. You see what I'm saying? So
I've had some bicep stuff pop up.
So gotta be real.
I did arms back-to-back days. Dude, that was like too much. And with this like 1 set to failure, high intensity stuff, since you're getting into that red line zone I was talking about, like your body is really, it's got to really come up with resources to be able to fill the hole you just dug and then overcompensate. Like it really is threatening your physiology. Like you're operating right on the red line area of what your body can actually handle. And I found out doing it 2 days in a row with the same muscle group is just too fucking much, man. And so I've been taking it easy with the biceps probably the last couple weeks. And that's even on, you know, like bicep intensive movements like the back. You know, I went lighter weight, made sure I used straps to, on my wrist to kind of take some of that weight off the bicep there. And adjusted some of the grips that I would usually work with, like a close grip. Started doing some other stuff, but basically I've been working around this movement. So, but I feel good. I can't feel that strain anymore, so I'm gonna go as much as I can with these movements here. We go these heavy sets. I'm gonna go with the heavy set and then work my way down in weight and do probably 5 or 6, you know, sets with, you know, for biceps, 5, 6 sets of curls, and then just be done with it.
Like you want to be the best. People want, and there are price levels to that. And whatever your experience is, you want to be the best of the beginners. Okay, so you work on a skill set, over deliver, create an amazing customer experience, build your book. Okay, and as your book builds, you start to get exclusivity. And if your shit's good, you can start telling people no, and then what happens is your price goes up. All right, so that's the strategy. Okay. That's the, you have to make yourself scarce through volume. And that comes from doing things for cheap in the beginning, getting to a point where you can't get everybody, raise your price, and that's what it is. Now, if you're in this situation, and let's say you are already there and you really do have a problem asking for money from people, understand first is that you will always struggle with money. If you have a problem asking for money or talking about money or speaking about money or talking any, you will always be in a position of having no money. All right? So what you have to work on is you have to understand that there's a lot of people out here that have a lot more money than you think. Okay? And sales is quite often. They will sell the customer based upon their financial situation. So like if you take a salesman through like...
I basically like to do that heavy set at first. just to kind of operate at my heaviest, my hardest for as long as I possibly can. Because if I take like, you know, 30s burnout, 35s burnout, I don't really feel like I'm finding my max range. So I do one warm up set. I basically want to get as much strain on them as I can. The biceps is a pretty small muscle and it can become overworked pretty fast. So I like to just go right into that heavy set just to make sure I'm operating right at what my limits are with the weight and the rep ranges, and then start working my way back. Might be a good strategy with some different muscles. I don't know, I'm not going to think too much into that one, but especially with the biceps, that's one reason I do that. Whereas you've seen me work my way up with triceps. I might try that next time actually, but that's why I do it with biceps. So I feel like I can just get overtrained really, really fast. And I want to get that, I want to make sure that I hit the hardest set I possibly can. All right, so we'll start kind of pyramiding down with the 45s, we'll go to the 40s. Give my arms just a little bit more of a break, and then we'll go right into that set. Yeah, like before that burn wears out, that's whenever I'll hop in and just try to keep that burn going each set. Now, this entire thing might last like 12 minutes, 12, 15 minutes for 6 or 7 sets. Maybe not even that much, probably 10 or 12.
It's like so well known, there's memes about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, if your shit is actually good, charge what you think it's worth. And the market will tell you the truth. People will either pay it or they won't. And you can't take that personally. If they don't pay it, you know what they're telling you? You ain't good enough yet. If they do pay it and they don't ask any questions, and you have a line of people out the door saying, I want one, you're probably too low. You know what I'm saying? Like, the market will give you the proper feedback for you to decide where your pricing should be. And it sounds to me right now like, you know, dude, you just got some experience to gain, some work to do, and some skills to acquire. And if I were this person, I would be working on creating an amazing book of business and an amazing experience for all these customers, so that you have an army of people out here talking about your tattooing. That's where you start, and you keep getting better and better and better and better. I mean, bro, 8 months is bullshit. Let's be real. 8 months is bullshit, bro. I take shits longer than 8 months. Yeah. Real talk. Real talk, bro.
8 months, I'm not a billionaire.
Yeah, that's right. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the big scheme of things, 8 months, that's nothing. Yeah. Okay, so let's quit this shit. You're not gonna be one of these 10 grand a day dudes in 8 months. It won't happen. You know what I mean? So be real about where we are. Let's ask ourselves and introspectively, where's the hang up? Why am I struggling with this? Why do I have this doubt? And then let's focus on getting better. Let's focus on getting word of mouth. And let's create a situation where the price has to go up because you're so good and you're so in demand. That's the best way to do it.
All right, so just do 2 sets of standing alternate curls. Then we go into just seated alternates. I actually used to like doing a lot of, you know, straight bar movements, double-handed, with like a curl bar or something. But for some reason, it just puts my shoulder in a weird bind. And I fucking tweak my shoulder every time I do that shit. So, and I feel like with double movements too, where you got both hands involved, might be pushing more with your dominant hand. You might be pushing more with one hand than you are with the other. So I just, especially with like arms, I just like keeping dumbbell type of work isolated to where I make sure I'm doing the same amount with both arms, and you know, just keep it even across the board. But those are really good movements because, like, you can see the different ranges of motion put more accentuation on the bicep. So whenever you got that straight bar curl, I mean, your wrists are like turned all the way out and it's like focused right on that bicep, you know. And I used to do a lot of those movements, but for some reason my arms didn't even really get that big. I was able to do like 135 on a bar, regular Olympic bar. And that was with a little bit of swinging too, but like these alternate curls, like it hits that brachialis I was talking about, and it makes your bicep wide, and it just looks so much fucking bigger and so much fuller. And plus, you got like the long head, and then you got the short head too, your bicep. And I feel like it really starts to shape that other short head in too with those alternate curls, because I mean, you're hitting the entire movement whenever you're rotating your wrist versus just this. I mean, you can see that. If you're hitting those alternate curls, that's everything, dude. So I've kind of gravitated, and I kind of stumbled up on them just by accident, really. Actually, I've seen Dorianyates doing them. That's who I saw doing them. And I can see maybe he arrived at that conclusion, you know, for a reason. I just started copying. I'm like, God damn, those things fucking work. And I just always stuck with them. So I started noticing like my biceps were getting fucking wider. And it just really is exhausting, all those parts of that movement. But all right, we'll do seated curls here.
Something I'm forever. I'm sure you hear that shit every day. But I want to make this interview about you because there's so many parts of your story that just need to be heard, need to be told. Take me back to mountain berry school.
So this comes, usually this is the answer people ask. What's the most important lesson you ever learned? And I learned it when I was probably 5 or 6 years old. I learned it from my mom. And we were in the grocery store here in St. Louis, and we were walking through the Kool-Aid. And when we were kids, man, we were like now I would say, but like we were definitely not well off. We were just kind of middle class. And we didn't, we didn't drink Kool-Aid, you know what I'm saying? And so we're walking through the Kool-Aid aisle. And I say that because both my parents were entrepreneurs, and they were both when I was growing up, they were in struggle. Just like you were in struggle, I was in struggle.
And I am staying in that 8, like in that 8 to 12 rep range. And really, if you think about it, yes, I'm doing some warm-up sets with like all the muscle groups I do about 5 to 6 exercises, but I really only go to 1 set to failure on each one of those exercises. And I would much rather do 5 different movements from different angles, all of them 1 set to failure, rather than just like, say for chest, like just a flat bench 5 sets to failure. Like, I'd rather have cable flies in there to failure, dips in there to failure, standing incline cable flies. Like, I'd rather have 5 different exercises to failure rather than just, one fucking exercise. Because I'm really only doing 5 sets total for that muscle group. Even though I've got those warm-up sets in there, like, it really doesn't matter because you're not getting into that red line area. You're not actually presenting your body anything new for it to grow with. So really those sets, I mean, they are there. There's blood in the muscle. There is tension. You're expending some calories there. But really, it ain't until you get into that red line area that it actually really starts to make a difference in what you're presenting your body. And really, you're probably not even going to have to expend many resources unless you actually get into that area. So it's just like working those different exercises rather than just a couple main ones. I know everybody switches it up, but they do like 5 sets for 5 different exercises, and that's 25 sets. That's just too damn much. Unless you're an enhanced bodybuilder, which I've been getting into that the last couple sessions talking about, but it's just like as a natural bodybuilder, your body's resources just can't keep up with that sort of hole that you dig into your body's, physiology, basically. Like, each set you're digging a hole into your body's resources, and you can't, it might take 2 weeks for it to be able to fill that hole and then overcompensate. So, like, it's just, like, not practical for a natural bodybuilder to do that many sets, especially if he's wanting to work out multiple times in a week. Like, it just ain't practical.
In the history of the world.
And it's just the physics things. Like, if you got 100 units of energy that can go towards you know, anything. That's even jogging. Like that eats away at your body's resources too. So jogging or weightlifting, like if you only got 100 units of energy, but you need 150 a day, it ain't gonna add up, you know? And you're basically, it's like hitting the door with an axe. One whack with an axe might be okay, but if you're hitting it every single day, you're just gonna eventually tear that door up. And if you're going too far into your body's resources, that's exactly what's gonna happen too. Like you're just gonna end up running yourself right into the ground unless you actually find the limits that you can operate at to where you've got enough, you know, growth, you're getting stronger from workout to workout. Like that's where you need to be at. That's what you need to find right there to be maximally effective.
High level quality life, good things happen to you easier than if you did. That makes sense.
Absolutely. Yeah, it does. And I've experienced that as well. And it's really remarkable when you look back and you see the ways in which you operated differently. You have journal entries. Dude, how do you keep a journal? What is your journal? How do you document moments? Is it the podcast?
Yeah, I would say the podcast is pretty. I don't actually journal. I don't pull out a piece of paper and write. I should because I know it does help. I encourage the skill. You don't use your skill to write. I like to be good at, you know. You are good. But I don't. The podcast is probably the most clear record that exists.
Honestly, I already feel like I'm kind of I like to do preacher curls. I'm probably just going to draw a line right there because I can just feel like I'm already pretty exhausted on the biceps. All right, so I'm going to go into standing calves, seated calves. In between sets, I'm going to do forearms. All right, I'm just going to do one warm-up set. Just one warm-up set with standing calf raises, and then I'm going to go right into my heavy set. Whenever I go over to seated, probably just do like 2 sets. So I'll probably do like 4 sets total with calves. And the thing is, like I also do calves like probably 3 days a week too. So really, I do probably 12 sets total throughout the week of just like, I don't know, heavy, hard, just isolated work for the calves.
Yeah, that's beautiful. The funny thing about what you said is you didn't make it 75 hard.
And one thing, like, I mean, like, to determine whether it's enough, I mean, obviously you need to look in the mirror and see visually, is this actually fucking working? And another thing too is like, am I getting stronger from one movement to the next? And sometimes they're just micro gains. You can't really tell, you know, from one rep to the next. Might get 1 rep with the same weight and that's stronger. You know, sometimes it's really an imperceptible strength gain, but sometimes it is like a good one. But, you know, experiment with those rep ranges and sets in the week to just see what is really optimal before you really start tearing yourself down. And where's the part where you're actually starting to go forward at? So, all right, let's get into this here.
What you say you're going to do, and you do these things, you automatically become so that's a great point.
Well, you said before that because you were putting an image of yourself in front of the world, and you weren't actually doing the things that could get you to that point. And it's crazy because I'm sure at a subconscious level, people can tell.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, dude, I mean, look, I was 350 pounds, bro, and I'm on stage talking about discipline of running a business, right? You have to do this, you have to do this, which were all true. But then I failed to apply those same principles to other areas of my life, right? And that's how you can be 350 pounds. So, yeah, dude, that actually was one of the main reasons I started getting my shit together was because I was working with Tyler, and he made a clip of a speaking engagement that I did in like 2014, and dude, I saw myself on stage and I was like, you're a fraud.
I usually stand on a platform with my feet hanging off just so I can get a better stretch, but I find once you get halfway into that movement, you have to adjust because your feet are actually slipping off the platform. And then since you adjust, it's almost like you take that tension off the movement and you give yourself a rest in between. So I'm kind of experimenting. I found also too, if I don't use the platform and I just place my feet back like back like a foot behind me and lean forward, I can still get that stretch, but my feet aren't slipping out from under me, and I can keep that constant tension the entire time. So, and you're still getting that deep stretch too with your feet. If your feet are farther back, just like they would be on the platform, but they're not fucking slipping. You ain't got to fucking be placing your feet different the whole time. And if you'll notice, I put forearms at the end of the workout for arms. And I see people in the gym, they go into the gym and the first thing they do is forearms. I'm like, dude, that is the dumbest shit you can possibly do. And the reason it's the dumbest thing you can possibly do, because your grip strength, unless you're doing legs, and there's still movements in there for legs where you're going to have to use your hands, like, dude, that's your grip strength right there. So now if you're training back, if you do forearms before you train back, now your forearms are the weak link in that movement, and you probably aren't even going to be able to take your back to failure because now your grip strength's failing. It's like it defeats the total purpose. So if I'd have come here on my arm day, did forearms before I ever did triceps and biceps, now that's the weak link. And so I probably wouldn't even be able to go to failure on the actual muscle group I was looking to work. So I put them at the end of the workout. And that's the same with calves too. It's almost like your forearm for your legs. I'll leave that stuff for the end of the movement, especially on like leg days. You don't do that shit first, you do that shit last. Because you're going to pre-exhaust the wrong type of muscle, and then it's just going to be the weak link in all the other freaking exercises that you do that day. So it's like, you got to be strategic with your forearm workouts so that you're not actually kind of working against yourself. It's just, I think it's a really stupid thing, and it's not very well thought out. And that could be done inexperienced-wise. I've done, I'm sure, back in the day, but that's how I learned not to do it, because I realized it was fucking defeating the purpose, dude. All right, we're going to one heavy set to failure here on the calves. This is just going to be an all-out. Get into that red line area and try to keep it there as long as you possibly can.
Look, bro, you got shit fucked up, you got shit fucked up, it's okay. It's still cool, we're gonna get better. And I think that if the whole world thought like that, we're a much cooler world, much more comfortable with ourselves, much less anxiety or worry or creative. Like, one of the things that social media has created is this like mentality where people think that people are creating narratives about them in their head, or like, always talking about it. Dude, we're so, entrepreneurs, influencers, and they'll talk like, they'll be like, well, I'm superhuman. I just fucking, work 27 hours on 24. I do this, grind. And I'm like, fuck, dude. Like, you know how demoralizing that is to like the average person who doesn't have that ability to execute and work that hard or hasn't developed it yet? It's completely demoralizing because these people are choosing to build themselves up to have strengths and powers, which, by the way, they don't actually have, right? It's just about ego thing. And then the people who they're trying to serve are now demoralized. And so I've always felt it better to me to like tell the truth about who I am and what I'm about, and let people know, dude, yeah, I make mistakes. Yeah, it's hard for me. Yeah, I'm struggling with this. I know everyone thinks that, this shit's easy, but it's not easy. And I think that just by telling the truth, we're serving the people who are watching us better than we would be to build ourselves up and make ourselves look like we're super. You know what I mean? That's important. I would say the best example of there's things about me that like are not worth being examples for. Like, bro, I smoke weed every fucking day, right? That's not that great of an example. But I also
If you think about that one set to failure, is it enough?
hey, don't do that.
Well, if you're going into that red line area that I'm talking about, how many times do you have to do that to present your body enough of a threat to grow? You only got to do it one time technically to trigger your body into saying, oh shit, this is a weight that I've got to compensate to. Any more than that, you really are just chipping away. It's like hitting the door with an axe. Hit it once, but if you hit it too many times, like there's no door left. Right? So it's just like, you only got to do it one time, dude.
I mean, that's my fear. Like, I don't go anywhere outside of this building.
Alright, do this set to failure here. Alright, do this set of forearms here. I had heard an interesting point the other day, Mike Mentzer, he brought it up. Now I get a lot of my stuff from Mike Mentzer. It just all makes sense, and I like things that make sense.
You're doing some really cool stuff. It's, you know, to hear that you're doing hundreds of episodes and building the show and the way you're doing it, it's really fun.
I appreciate that. Well, another person whose life you've impacted may or may not, this guy named George Heaton.
It's actually him talking about forearm training.
Under 30 years
He basically said what he's noticed whenever he was training and with his trainees, whenever he's doing personal training, is he said that basically the farther you get away from the core, so it'd be like your calves is the farthest away and your forearms are the farthest away. He said that they basically get bigger, faster compared to the muscle groups as you work your way in to the torso. And I've been thinking about that. It's like, well, for one, your forearms touch every single thing that you do, right? So back, chest, your arm workouts, your shoulder workouts, that's forearms in there every single time. So there's definitely volume on there. So we'll say that's one factor. But he said once you get into the torso, then the closer you get to to center mass, the slower the progress of those muscles are. I would say too, so your forearms are in every single movement, like the arms, the chest, back. Well, your chest is only really involved in chest and shoulders. And plus also like the range of motion, like look how big of a range of motion that you get for chest. What's that, 6 inches, 8 inches? For the deep, really deep stretch, I mean, you might get 8 inches right there. So you really got only about an 8-inch range of motion really to get that, you know, pec involved. And with the back, you got a little bit more. But I don't know. I've been thinking about what he was saying and why that is true. But I think it might have to do with the rep range and then the volume of the work that's involved. I don't know, man. But with your legs too, I mean, your calves, they're going to do everything with that movement. If you're running, like they're involved in every single step. So like they're going to be taking the brunt of that movement every single time. And you know, I don't know, man. I'm kind of just still thinking about that concept that he brought up, which I find is really, really interesting to really even notice that. But it's all leverage stuff too. I mean, if you have like torque is involved, let's say this is the lever. Well, the farther you have the weight out, the more demanding it becomes and the heavier it is. But the closer it is, you know, the less weight there is as far as like torque goes. And so I feel like that might have something to do with it too, because they're at the very end of that movement. So I guess there'd probably be more torque involved, which means there's more weight. You know, I don't know, I'm just thinking about body mechanics and the practical application of that statement he said. And just, I don't know, trying to now see if I don't notice that in my own workouts and in my own personal life. Okay, I'm just do one warm-up set with that. Whereas I really, really like seated calves, I feel like they don't really just focus right on that freaking softball right there. I feel like they hit like the outer edge of the calf. And I'm really, those standing calves, I feel like you place your feet in more and you can just get really focused right on that softball right there. So I really like the movement based on the feel, but as far as it giving me the aesthetic look that I'm after, I don't know if it actually does or not. But I really just do it because I've already superset it with the other one. I feel like it will give just a little bit more accentuation there on top of what I did on the standing calves. But, you know, it is what it is right now. All right.
And control your body. I'm like, dude, it's powerful stuff. And a lot of people, you know, this is why I get so pissed off. People are like, oh, it's fucking weight loss or it's a fitness challenge. Dude, you have no idea what you're talking about. It's a mental realignment on how to truly navigate and win.
When you fall down, which you inevitably will, fast you can get back up is defining your life. And when you go from when a bad thing happened, and I let that control my reality for a year.
Yeah.
And then there have been periods in my life when one bad thing happens, and I am better in that moment.
Yes.
And the time between the bad thing happening and how quickly you can get back on the right path, that is what life is all about.
Bro, it's what you just described is what we're doing is we're literally shortening, because dude, time
On this movement
is
here,
a value resource. It's not money, it's not energy,
once I get started,
it's time. Okay, we have a finite amount of time. And if you
trying to,
close the
just to make sure I am putting more emphasis on that softball like I was talking about, I'm putting my hands down here
dude, you're
on the muscle
ahead of everybody else.
and trying to make sure I'm staying flexed and contracted right there on that softball,
Look at the society we live in, dude.
squeezing the entire time just to try to bring more
Most
focus on that muscle than I would be if I wasn't doing that.
self-victim. You go on the internet and you look at the most fucking likes and most comments. These are posts of these fucking stats. But the reality is 90 fucking times, I'm not saying that some of these things aren't valid, because they are. A lot of people out there struggling right now. Don't get it twisted. But 90% of the times, you can flip the right over to what it's like to live in a third world country, and you realize that you're not that fucked up, man. You're just a little bit off track. And if we really dig further into that, the reason that you don't feel right is because you're not controlling any of the things that you have the capability to control. You're choosing to not control your food. You're choosing not to put quality information in your brain. You're choosing not to move right. You're choosing not to train.
All right, this is the last set with forearms here.
And these all come down to real choices. And so
I think that's one mistake that I really made earlier on in my weightlifting career. Not career, but is just making sure I drop a little bit of weight just to get more of that focus and squeeze in that actual muscle group I was looking to work. It was more about doing heavier weight.
loss, failure, and staying in the mud to basically nothing. And that gives you more time to be progressing, which ultimately creates the gap.
Like bench. You know, I'd feel that stuff in my shoulders, but I just keep powering through. Didn't see much growth in my pecs,
Still deal with that, bro.
but it'd be burning in my triceps and my shoulders, boy.
How's that?
It's cool.
So it's just like really slowing down, taking time to get that focus, learning some of the proper form to really get that muscle group activated that you're looking to work. And,
It's pretty serious shoulder injury.
you know, really just going into to failure on those sets.
Hand over my head.
All right, that was day 32 of 75 hard. I appreciate you guys who are following along with me. If you like the way that I break down the workouts, please follow along and subscribe. If you don't, no big deal. We'll part as friends. But yeah, man, I'll see you guys tomorrow or the next day.